I was still dressing like that. And I know that is the first thing that made people feel like, this girl is not good enough. And let me tell you, there's this one lady who said she was going to go to my church to find out more about me, and more specifically, to find out if I was a virgin. People, labels that disable and enable. Labels subject you to living through the lenses of others, and that can be debilitating. Only the strong-willed can live through it without losing themselves. Labels hold you back and keep you small. He, she is too much. Could it be that the other person is too less? He, she is too strong. Could it be that the other person is too weak? Should she lower the bar, or should he raise the bar? Should he lower the bar, or should she raise the bar? If you should not compare yourself with another, why would you place the burden on someone else? And to you who have been labeled, before you take up a label, wait. Ask yourself, who gave me the label? Remember that labels reflect how people think of themselves. Is this label currently true? Does it serve or harm you and others? Make the necessary adjustments if need be. Then be you at all costs. Do not let labels run your life. Do not let labels disable you. Sadly, the other reason that I've been labeled for is for dreaming. I have been labeled for dreaming, for going for it, for being aggressive. So the first one was assertive, actually. And now this is being labeled for being aggressive with life. Wanting more than life can give me. Wanting more than my area of birth can give me. Wanting more than the environment that is supposed to die in can give me. And I've pursued my dreams by the grace of God. And people have been uncomfortable with that because, again, I said people have a box for you and they want you to fit into that box. And so people have said all sorts of things as I dream. One has been traveling. And people say, oh my God, she travels a lot. She travels a lot. She must be going to do things that I can't even mention here. Honestly, like things that I cannot even mention here. I won't tell you about my travels today, but I'm going to tell you. And why I'll do that is because of where I'm coming from. If anybody knows where I'm coming from, then you can understand. But people have decided that a woman cannot dream, a woman cannot become whatever she wants to become unless I have been labeled for dreaming. Let me tell you. So before I ever traveled, this is like maybe 12 years ago, because I hadn't even my last child is 12. So this is even before my last one was born. The dad really admired one of this church ministers or preachers who has been like maybe a model to him, and he really loved this person. I wrote this person. I wrote the office. They responded. But let me tell you. Let me maybe brag a bit. It's fine. Let me just brag a bit. I always believe that I can meet anybody that I want to meet. Like that is one thing I have no doubt of. We are told that you're 5 people away to the maybe to the president or to the whoever you want to meet. You are just 5 people away. Sometimes I'm not even I don't even use the closest person or the next person, or I don't use anybody amongst the 4 people that I have or 5 people. I go for it. If I want it, I will go for it. So I wrote an email. Okay, if I told you the people, if I told you the people that I have communicated with and the people that I've had a relationship with, just because of writing or asking or, if I want to meet somebody, I'm going to meet them. If I want to talk to somebody, I'm going to talk to them. Anyway, so I write to this man of God, and this man of God gives me to the admin, and the admin is really good. And we chat a lot. We keep exchanging emails, and you're planning. So I wanted this to be a surprise for his birthday. And so we are planning all these, and we're talking back and forth, like actively. Oh my goodness, actively. And they're responding so well. It's a church here in America. And so I say this is his birthday is on December, and I would want this for him. And they're like, oh, yeah. I mean, we communicate until, unfortunately, something tragic happens to the son. And the birthday comes and goes. And so that is how we stop conversations in those lines. But I really, really wanted for him to go and be and do what he wants to do and be. But then when I started traveling, people, not the person, people started feeling that, oh, she's traveling a lot. So you guys, what did you want me to do? Not to travel because I am traveling and someone else is not traveling. I went to speak for my first travel, for my second, my third, my fourth. But people do not want you to dream. Oh, she lives. Oh, she goes a lot. So, I want you to burst open, tear that box that people have put you in. People who cannot dream, people who have put you where they want you to be, for you not to become. You've got to seize that. So labeled for dreaming. People are uncomfortable with dreamers. Talk of Joseph. Like, why did his brothers feel so uncomfortable? I dreamt. And his dreams are not interesting to them. So people don't like dreamers, labeled for dreaming. So I think the last label, which I talked about in the letter that I did to my dad, in my last episode, the one I did last week, I think this is labeled. I'm not really sure if it's labeled by people or this is labeled by me and maybe labeled by my significant other. Labeled for my wounds, for my, not just wounds, but my open wounds. Oh, she's lost her parents and probably she's a hurting person. And so this I'm not going to place on people a lot, but it's both end, So this other one is just like labeled for my wounds, And I, again, because you have open wounds, people don't think that someone else has wounds. And so you pay the price for you and for the other person. Because open wounds, outside or outward wounds, are conspicuous. People can point at them. People can see them. And when I say mine were open is because, loss is something that everybody can say, oh my God, she's going through grief. She's going through all this. So I feel like that was That was a label, and I've said again, I put on me, and it was also put on me. I don't know how much it was with the outside world, but then I know how it was within my environment. So and I know how it was within me. I used to feel like everything I'm doing, oh my God, am I becoming, am I being emotional because of this? Am I being emotional? So I actually like victimized myself like really, really a lot, which is also like a trauma response. Yeah. So labels that enable. So you label me, you enable someone else. You label me, you enable someone else. Not fair. Not fair at all. So I want to give you an example of a story that might explain like everything I've said, like assertive, aggressive, a go-getter, or a dreamer. And when I look at my life, I think this thing started from way back, like way, way, way back. So I remember on my wedding, we didn't have a lot of money. And I really want to commend the committee. I don't even know how they made that wedding happen. Honestly, eternally grateful for each and every one of them. I don't know how they did it, but they did it. So every girl has a dream, and one of my dreams was, of course, not to have a wedding inside a hall. I really, really wanted to have a wedding outside, like have tents. But because of our finances, we could not have the wedding in tents. So by the time we were leaving the committee the last Sunday to the wedding, we were supposed to have the wedding in a hall. But within the week, I used to work for my boss used to hire out tents, and within the week I made it possible. I went and talked to my boss. I told my boss, you know what, you can keep my salary for this month. I'm gonna work. Of course, it was in the middle, so I was still planning for the wedding and also like working. So I said, we can use the salary for this month, and also had kidogo savings. Like I don't want to go into that again. I learned how to save from a very young age, like from my mom, because my mom had opened for us post bank when we were very young, and so immediately I started working at 18. I reopened post bank and I started banking. So I would take my money, pay my tithe, and pay my savings. Yeah, pay my tithe and pay my savings, and then I pay myself and do whatever else I needed to do. So I had a little cash that I'd put aside. It was in the bank, and so I talked to my boss and I said, you can have the money for this month. And she also gave me a very, very good deal and offered transport. So in the middle of the week, I was in communication, or we were in communication with the chairperson, and we said, you know what, you tell everybody that we are not going to do the wedding in a hall. We're going to do it in a tent, and any decor that was supposed to be done in the hall should be done outside. And I was not asking anything from anybody. And do you know that was a problem? I don't know from how many people, but that was a problem. And people started saying like, oh my God, this girl is very controlling. Coming up with solutions. Because again, I said, there's a way people don't want you to think. And why I'm saying it became a problem, someone talked to me about that not long ago, like I have 3 children. So someone talked to me about that when I was a mother of 3. And they said, oh, we feared you when this happened. So someone did not see a person who is coming up with solutions, but a person who can take over, a person who can control. Labels. When it gets to that point of someone saying, I don't care what I do, people will always say it's you. because your labeling enables. So take care. Take care. When you're watching from outside, just take care. You don't know what you're doing to the people on the inside. You might be hurting not just a person but an entire generation because you clean some people while you paint other people. Stop labeling. Please subscribe to School of Life with Sonny. I'm looking forward to being done. Honestly, I'm really looking forward to be done with this part of my life, of my story, of my unmasking, because I feel I cannot proceed until I am done with this part. So I cannot proceed into, oh my goodness, I have so much for you guys. I have so much for you guys, but I feel it's not right. I'm not being authentic when I just come and continue with what I want to continue with before I unmask. So this is a journey, very intentional. I'm headed somewhere with all this, and then School of Life is gonna be on. You better be part of this classroom.